We use must-have score uh, to do the thing that you said here. And how do you compare it to the NPS?
So
What is better?
yeah, I think the must-have score is basically the entry point to know you can survive as a business. Essentially, it says, I would be very disappointed without this product. You need some people who consider the product a must-have. The NPS is more of a business performance score. So I'll give you an example that if let's say I have a drug that I have to take because I have a sickness,
Okay.
and that drug, if I don't take it, I'm going to be very sick all the time. Like, that's a must-have for me. But the business charges so much money. Every time I try to call them, they leave me on hold for a long time. They run out of stock a lot of times. I don't like to do business with them, but I need that product. So I'm not going to recommend that product to someone, but I need it. So that's where obviously you want both. I want to have a must-have product, and I want to serve customers really, really well. So NPS is a good metric that tells you that you're really doing a good job serving customers. But it's going to be somewhat category specific too. If it's let's say adult diapers, like if I need adult diapers, it's a must-have. But am I going to recommend them to all my friends? Probably not. Maybe on a
I used
big
to
night
say
of drinking, but that'd be the only
I
time.
used to say that if you have a high must-have score and a low NPS, you basically has a business that is really well positioned to be disrupted for a competitor because
Yeah.
you have something that people really need and you're not serving them well. So a competitor
It's a
can,
big opportunity when
and
you
yeah,
have
it's
this.
a big opportunity for your competitors.
Exactly. So I think it's a great way of looking at it. The other way I would look at it there is if you have a high must-have score and a low NPS, that's a lot easier to fix than if you have a low
Yeah.
must-have score.
Yeah.
Because
Excellent.
you have to essentially fix the whole product, where this you just have to be a better business.
You say that you have two things we are in the first, but I would like to know a little bit more about that because we do a meeting with our partners in our company each quarter, and in this quarter I will do an offsite meeting, like you say in moment. And my first dynamic that I will do with them is give some clients contact of some clients that churn in this quarter to each one call for them and question why they churn. Try to understand what we do wrong.
Yep.
And try to after that make a dynamic to plan what you have to do better in the next opportunity.
Yep.
My idea is to bring the culture about talk with the clients and try to be better. First, think about the vision about the clients. What do you think about this dynamic and to question to the churn clients? Not
Yeah.
the promoter clients.
So I think it's good to understand that, but yeah, I think you run two risks. One is by focusing on that, you're not focusing on why did the client stay. You're focusing on why did the other ones leave. And so maybe you miss the opportunity to really understand what am I doing well. But then the other risk is you start to learn the ones that are leaving and they give you requirements and you start to serve their requirements. Now the ones that love you start saying, I don't like the product as much. So you kind of move away from your core. So that's why I start with, I want to make the product better and better for my must-have customers. And then
I like
what I learned from Superhuman, do you know Superhuman? That's a
Superhuman.
company?
Yeah, the email.
Email, yeah. So they took my initial idea with this must-have score, and then they turned it into a they evolved my methodology to actually, I think, really do something better that solves that problem. So where I said, if they don't say that it's a must-have, I ignore feedback from everybody who doesn't say it's a must-have. And for those reasons that I just said, what they said is, okay, I like that, but I'm going to focus on the must-have users. What is the benefit that matters most to the must-have users? And then I'm going to say, who are the users who said I would be somewhat disappointed if you took away this product, if I could no longer use this product, who also cared about that benefit? And now I'm going to figure out what can I do to improve it for them. So I'm not moving away from my core benefit, but I'm making my core benefit something that I can bring that group in and experience that benefit better. So what that starts to do is as a marketer by background, I'm mostly thinking about the product as kind of a fixed thing, and how do I get the right people to experience the product in the right way. What they're essentially saying is how to actually improve the product, and you can use the data that they collected to actually improve the product as well. And so I think that is a good twist on the methodology that actually makes it so that you can start to, the ones who say I'd be somewhat disappointed are going to churn, but you're essentially saying, I'm not going to look at all churn users. I'm going to look at churn users, the set of churn users that should have loved this product.
It's like on the NPS, like on G4, you have like promoters, detractors, and neutral. We pretty much don't care that much for the detractors because they are so far away from like us that it's okay. So promoters, let's listen to them, and neutral because it's easier to turn neutrals into promoters than detractors into promoters. And most of people usually focus on the detractors.
It's easier to solve a problem than it is to...
One thing that we did in this last quarter that get down our churn rate was focus on the promoters and find ways to get more money from them and forget the churn, and our churn get down because we have a lot of upsell and sell more to the promoters. And the logo churn keep the same, but my revenue churn drop, you know, because I sell more for the promoters.
And you know what I think the number one thing to improve churn is? And it's kind of like, by the time they're churning, it's sort of too late. So to me, I think the number one thing to improve churn is actually to get people using the product the right way as quickly as possible. So focus on the beginning of that journey, and it kind of comes back to what we talked about. So if you invest much more time and energy on that new customer onboarding, and it doesn't have to be like in a tech product where it's like, I'm gonna A/B test a whole bunch of screens, but it can be, you know, do we set up a half-hour call with every new customer so that we truly understand their needs and help them get the most out of the solution. So it can be a very like touch way, but you just want to make sure that if they don't use the product right in the first place, those are usually the customers that churn.
Yeah, absolutely. Pessoas não podem sair daqui sem saber que crescer não é uma opção, mas é uma estratégia de sobrevivência. Se você não está crescendo, você está morrendo. Por isso que growth importa tanto.